This is Craig Morley. We're having an interview with a newly minted trainee. Let me have you go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Myron Coleman. I'm a new site analyst out of Dallas, Texas, and I'll be working with the DFW market.
Well, very good. Myron, tell us a little bit about what got you involved with or your interest in the real estate appraisal business.
Yes, so I was in the obviously due to COVID, a lot of people had to try to figure out what they were wanting to do for their future, and for me, it was a change of jobs coming from being a personal trainer and then transitioning to what I currently am doing now, which is pursuing the residential appraiser position. So for me, it was more or less of a career change to help further my family.
Very good. So, Myron, as you have gotten involved with Accurity Valuation in starting in the training process, tell me what your first step was in terms of getting started with your training. Did you have some initial coursework and things that you had to do?
Yeah, great question. So initially, when you first start off as a site analyst with Accurity, you're given 5 modules to go through. You watch the modules and get a better learning and understanding of how the Accurity system works. You get very detail oriented with going over your distal laser, with iPad, with measurements, a lot of different variations with the modules that are very helpful for incoming and new site analysts like myself.
So, how long did it take to go through that process in getting these? And I'm guessing that these are Accurity branded modules for site analyst trainees to do to get involved in that system. Is that right?
That is correct. All of the videos are Accurity branded, and for me personally, each video is roughly 1.5 to 2 hours. So a total of 5 videos, roughly about 10 to 15 hours worth of online coursework.
And did you find that to be useful in terms of getting your feet wet in collecting property information?
It was very useful because there's a lot of terms and lingo and words that are in the appraising industry that if you are unaware of, you have no understanding of what those words mean. And so the people in the modules and the videos did a really good job of explaining not only what it is, but how it's done and how it's done accurate with integrity for Accurity.
Great. So now that you've gone through those, what was the next step in getting ready to go out into the field and do what you're being hired to do?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the next step is to be with an on the ground site analyst currently to possibly shadow with for maybe 1 to 2 days, and then the company Accurity brings you to St. George, Utah, to do a week's worth of training with the best trainer, Colby Clinic, and it will do on-site field evaluating training where you'll be taking measurements, interior, exterior photos, basically everything that I'm going to be doing in the field. Colby's teaching you here so that it gives you a great base to start when you go back to your wherever you come from, your territory.
So we'll clip anything out that we don't like, right?
Sure.
So what is the next step? What do you do now? You're in St. George now. You're getting ready to leave and go back to Dallas, Fort Worth area. What will happen next for you?
When I get back home, I will get in touch with the appraiser that is in my immediate area, Brian Kirkpatrick, and he will then form a plan for me to go on some more shadow appraisal appointments. So I won't be fully in charge of those appointments. I still will be able to do measurements and photographs, but the site analyst I'll be with will be running that, and it'll give me a better understanding of how to navigate my own market. And so 1 to 2 weeks or however long the appraiser feels like I need to shadow with someone. And then at that point, once he feels comfortable with me being out on my own, then I'll start running appointments on my own.
Very good. So, what are your long-term career goals as far as in the valuation space?
So I will be the first certified residential appraiser in my family, which I'm going to take a lot of pride in that, and definitely help out as many people as I can. And Accurity has definitely given me a wonderful opportunity and a platform to help out as many people as I can. So futuristically speaking, I will be retiring as a residential appraiser, and hopefully with Accurity as a pod appraiser.
Well, very good. Thank you so much, Myron. It's nice to see new blood getting into the appraisal industry, and we're glad to have a chance for you to share some of the thoughts that you've had. How do you feel like this training process has worked for you? Does it feel comfortable? Do you feel like you're learning at an appropriate rate and things are starting to make sense?
That's a great question. I feel like this is one of the smoothest onboarding processes that I've been a part of from any other company that I've worked with. And the thing that I appreciate it's not all in classroom teaching. It is boots on the ground. We're in the car. We're going to do what I got hired to do, which I greatly appreciate.
Well, very good. Thanks so
So
much.
here at Accurity, I trained our new hires, the newest members of the team who have never been in the residential appraising field before, and sometimes they have been, but my job is to teach them the way Accurity does things and how to proficiently operate our equipment in the field and perform site inspections. So measuring homes, taking photos, interviewing homeowners, the whole 9 yards.
So, how do you see Accurity doing things differently than what maybe the traditional appraiser is doing their type of training or their operation?
So, for instance, we offer a living wage for people in the trainee position, which already everyone that we've hired has mentioned to us um, how legendary that is in terms of even being able to be paid while being in the training role, let alone having unlimited access to support and appraisers just with years and years and years of knowledge and with the progressive mindset that moves with technology and the change of everything we need to be following.
So, Colby, as you say that, it reminds me of a conversation I had a few months ago with a young lady up in Idaho who was trying to find a mentor to get her into the business. And she found a qualified, competent person to help her, and he was willing to do that for a mere $70,000. That she would pay him to train her. And so, what you're really pointing out is that rather than take kind of an approach where, gee, it's going to take me time to teach you how to do it, you're paying people a reasonable income while they're going through that training process with the hopes that they can move up through the system and become productive members of the team in providing valuation services. Is that?
Absolutely. It was great for me. I was one of the first site analysts for Accurity that moved up through the system, and now I'm a real estate appraiser. And the opportunity is just out of this world compared to what I could have went to someone else and had to possibly pay someone, as you mentioned, or do it as a side gig. But this way, I've felt so supported and so a part of things the whole step of the way, having the best supervisors possible. I mean, yeah.
Good. So, how do you see Accurity doing things differently in the valuation space than the run of the traditional appraiser?
We do it very progressively. We do it with the times. We offer turn times like no other without sacrificing quality. Quality is extremely important to us, exactly the same as turn time. Um, we make the changes that need to be made to keep up with market trends.
So, what do you see as the single biggest bottleneck for bringing on more trainees within the system?
That's a great question. Well, I would say the biggest bottleneck is once we have a trainee that has moved up through our system, he's ready to be out in the field, boots on the ground, doing his own appraisals, and possibly even have his own trainees. He can't sponsor his own trainees for the first 3-year period. So it creates a lag for our new appraisers to become highly proficient in our systems, as our systems rely on the site analyst role. So that would be the biggest bottleneck.
So, traditionally, the 3-year time period was designed to allow that newly certified appraiser to get some enough work experience that he could then competently train the new person coming in to the organization. Within the Accurity model, do the appraisers have additional support so that they would be able to, if they were allowed to train a trainee as soon as they're certified, is there the kind of support that would be available to them so that they would have the help they need to make sure that the new trainee is getting appropriate training?
I would tend to believe, and firmly actually believe, that they have more support than any other appraiser in the country to do that task. You have the brightest minds in the appraisal industry working with us. You have people that have designed the 1004 itself working with us, that are available on the call 24/7 to be able to help all of our appraisers in any questions they have.
Now, I'm guessing you have regular communication with with the appraisers on a regular sequence then throughout the country.
Absolutely. Mark Verrett down in Houston was my supervisor himself. Jeff Morley here on the Utah board is my direct boss. And every day I see them on phone calls with every one of our appraisers, helping out in any way they can, being available.
Well, very good. Thanks, Colby.
Yeah, thank you.